I used to think the market was against me. Every loss felt personal. Every stop loss felt unfair. Every losing streak felt targeted. Like somehow, the market knew exactly where I entered and decided to destroy me specifically. That's how it felt. And honestly, that belief made me feel better. Because if the market was the problem, then maybe I wasn't. Maybe my strategy wasn't bad. Maybe my mindset wasn't weak. Maybe I was just unlucky. That's what I kept telling myself. Until one day, I couldn't lie to myself anymore. Because eventually, the same mistakes become impossible to ignore. Same emotional entries. Same revenge trades. Same impulsive decisions. Same regret. Over and over and over again. And after enough repetition, you stop blaming the market and start looking at yourself. That was the day everything changed for me. Not because I suddenly became profitable, not because I discovered some magical strategy, but because for the first time, I saw the real enemy clearly. Me. And that realization hurts. Because it removes excuses. You can't hide anymore after that. You can't pretend you're just one strategy away. You can't pretend you just need better entries. Because deep down, you already know the truth. The problem isn't always the chart. Sometimes, it's the person looking at it. I remember one specific trade. It looked clean, perfect even. Everything lined up. Trend matched. Confirmation matched. Timing looked good. And I entered. At first, it moved exactly how I wanted. A little profit. A little confidence. That familiar feeling again. This might be the one. Then the market slowed down. Nothing dramatic. Just hesitation. But my mind changed instantly. Suddenly, I wasn't calm anymore. I started staring at every candle. Every tiny movement. Every little pullback felt dangerous. And then I did what I always did. I interfered. I moved my stop loss. Just a little. Then a little more. Then suddenly, the trade that had a controlled risk didn't have control anymore. Now it was emotional. Now it was personal. Now I needed it to win. That's dangerous. Because the moment you need a trade to work, you stop thinking clearly. And once emotions take over, logic disappears fast. I watched myself spiral in real time. And the crazy part? I knew I was doing it. That's what scared me most. I was fully aware. I knew I was breaking my rules. I knew I was trading emotionally. I knew I was making things worse. And I still continued. That's when I realized something terrifying. Knowing better doesn't automatically make you do better. That was a painful lesson. Because I always thought knowledge was the solution. Learn more. Study more. Watch more videos. Understand more concepts. But knowledge without self-control is useless. Completely useless. Because in trading, execution matters more than information. And execution falls apart under emotion. That's why trading psychology matters so much. Not because psychology sounds smart, but because your emotions literally control your decisions. And most traders don't notice it happening. At least not immediately. It starts small. A little impatience. A little greed. A little fear. Tiny emotions. But emotions grow fast inside trading. Because money amplifies everything. Fear becomes panic. Confidence becomes arrogance. Hope becomes denial. And denial, that one is dangerous. Because denial keeps you inside losing trades. Denial tells you, it'll come back. Just hold. Don't close yet. And suddenly, a small loss becomes massive. Not because the market forced you. Because you refuse to accept reality. That realization hit me hard. I wasn't losing because the market hated me. I was losing because I kept fighting reality. I wanted control over something uncontrollable. And trading punishes that mindset brutally. Because the market doesn't care what you want. It doesn't care how badly you need the trade to win. It doesn't care if you're stressed. It doesn't care if you're desperate. The market moves regardless. And once I truly understood that, I stopped trying to control the market and started trying to control myself. That shift changed everything. Not instantly, but deeply. Because now, every mistake became a mirror. Every bad trade exposed something. Impatience, ego, fear, greed, overconfidence, desperation. The chart became psychological. It stopped being candles and started becoming emotions. I could literally see my mindset inside my trades. That's when trading became uncomfortable. Because self-awareness is uncomfortable, especially when you realize you've been sabotaging yourself the entire time. I used to blame losses on bad luck. But then I looked closer. Most of my losses had patterns. I entered too early. I sized too big. I forced trades. I ignored my plan. I chased momentum. I moved stop losses. I overtraded after losses. The same behaviors kept repeating. Different days, different charts, same psychology. That's when it clicked. The market wasn't random. I was predictable. That realization was brutal because it meant the problem wasn't external. It was internal, and internal problems are harder to fix. You can change strategies quickly. Changing yourself takes time, a lot of time, and honesty, painful honesty, the kind where you stop protecting your ego. Because ego is another enemy in trading. Ego wants to be right. Ego hates losses. Ego takes losing trades personally. Ego says, I can make it back. I know I'm right. The market is wrong. But the market doesn't care about your ego. And the more emotional you become, the worse your decisions get. That's why revenge trading exists. It's not about money. It's about ego. You're trying to recover emotionally, not financially. And that's why revenge trading feels urgent. You want relief, not profit. That realization changed how I viewed my losses. I stopped asking, how do I avoid losses? And started asking, how do I react to losses? Because losses are unavoidable, but emotional reactions are not. That's the difference. One is part of trading. The other destroys traders. And I started noticing something else too. My worst trades didn't happen because of strategy. They happened because of emotional states. Stress, lack of sleep, frustration, desperation, boredom. Those states affected everything. But before, I ignored them. I treated trading like a machine. Signal appears. Enter trade. Make money. But humans don't work like machines. And pretending emotions don't exist makes them even stronger. So I started doing something different. Before trading, I checked myself first. Not the chart. Myself. How do I feel? Am I calm? Am I frustrated? Am I forcing something today? And if the answer felt wrong, I stayed away. At first, that felt weak, like I was avoiding the market. But eventually, I realized something important. Protecting yourself is not weakness. It's intelligence, especially in trading. Because some days, you are the risk, not the market. That sentence changed my perspective completely. Some days, your emotions are too unstable. Your focus is too weak. Your discipline is too low. And trading during those moments is dangerous. Not because the setup is bad, because you are not ready. That's a hard thing to admit, especially for people obsessed with action. Because traders love activity. Charts moving, candles flashing, opportunities everywhere. It creates pressure. Pressure to act. Pressure to participate. Pressure to not miss out. But sometimes, the best decision is doing nothing. And that takes maturity. Because beginners think trading is about action. Experienced traders understand. Trading is mostly waiting. Waiting patiently. Waiting calmly. Waiting without forcing. And that's difficult when your emotions are loud. That's why self-control matters more than strategy. A good strategy with bad discipline fails. A simple strategy with strong discipline survives. That's the reality nobody wants to hear. Because discipline is boring. People want secrets, indicators, shortcuts, magic entries. But trading success is repetitive. It's boring. The same process. Again, and again, and again. And your emotions hate repetition. Your emotions want excitement. Fast money. Big wins. Action. That's why impulsive trading feels addictive. Because emotionally, it feels rewarding. Even when it's destroying you financially. That realization scared me. Because I realized I wasn't just trading. I was emotionally reacting to uncertainty. And uncertainty exposes people. It exposes fear, ego, greed, patience, self-control. Trading reveals who you really are under pressure. That's why two people can use the same strategy and get completely different results. Because the strategy isn't the full equation. The trader matters too. And once I understood that, I stopped obsessing over finding better setups and started focusing on becoming more stable emotionally. That became the real goal, not perfection. Stability. Because stable emotions create stable decisions. And stable decisions create consistency. Not guaranteed profits. Consistency. And consistency matters more. Because one lucky week means nothing. What matters is surviving long term. That's the real challenge. Not making money once. Keeping control repeatedly. That's hard. Very hard. But that's where growth actually happens. Not in the wins. In the awareness. The moment you recognize your own destructive patterns, you finally have a chance to change them. Before that, you're just repeating them unconsciously. That's why awareness matters so much. Because you cannot fix what you refuse to see. And for a long time, I refused to see myself clearly. I blamed everything else first. The market, the strategy, the volatility, the timing, the news, everything except me. But eventually, the evidence becomes overwhelming. And you either accept responsibility or stay stuck forever. That's the crossroads every trader reaches eventually. Blame externally or improve internally. One keeps your ego safe. The other changes your life. And the moment I chose responsibility, my mindset changed completely. I became calmer. Not because trading got easier. Because I stopped fighting reality. I accepted losses faster. I respected risk more. I stopped trying to force outcomes. And ironically, that's when trading finally started improving. Not because I controlled the market. Because I stopped letting emotions control me. That's the real battle in trading. Not you versus the market. You versus yourself. Your impatience. Your ego. Your fear. Your greed. Your impulsiveness. That's the enemy. And once you realize that, everything looks different. The charts look different. Losses look different. Wins look different. Because now, trading becomes self-awareness, not prediction. And honestly, that's what makes trading so difficult. It forces you to confront yourself. And most people spend their entire lives avoiding that. But trading doesn't let you hide. Eventually, your psychology appears on the chart. And once I realized that, I stopped asking, how do I beat the market? And started asking, how do I stop beating myself? That question changed everything. Because the truth is, most traders are not destroyed by the market. They're destroyed by their reactions to it. And reactions can be managed. Slowly, patiently, repeatedly, not perfectly, but better. And better is enough. Because trading isn't about becoming emotionless. It's about becoming aware enough to not let emotions control your actions. That's the real skill. And honestly, that's probably the hardest part of trading. Not the strategy, not the analysis, yourself. Because in the end, the market was never truly my enemy. I was. And the day I realized that was the day I finally started changing.